That was a Big Ten brawl yesterday, man. Oregon 18, Iowa 16, final score in the rain in Kinnick. Dan Lanning, I think, was wearing cotton. Bold choice when you're in a downpour like that for the Oregon head coach, but he's a psychopath, as is this Oregon team, doing psychopath things, finding a way to get it done. We'll break down all of it right now. Before we do that, though, Oregon fans, hey, y'all been awesome subscribing to the channel. We have a lot of y'all that are fans of the Ducks that have recently subscribed to this platform. If you haven't yet, I would go ahead and do that. One, to join your Oregon brethren in being subscribed here. Two, your Ducks, I fully believe, are set to be a college football playoff team. And maybe, just maybe, with what we saw yesterday, a little college football playoff run feels in order for the Ducks. But we'll unpack this game first. We'll also unpack the Iowa side of it, as always, presented by BetMGM. Here's the thing with me from this game yesterday with Oregon. It is extremely impressive anytime you're able to force a team to play your style of game. We saw Ohio State do that during the college football playoff yesterday. It was like, we're going to score a lot of points. Jeremiah Smith's going to get a lot of touches, and you're going to have to catch us. Your move. That's awesome. That's impressive. That's plan A. But the really elite teams that are going to compete for and eventually make the college football playoff are able to play a style of game when they're not able to dictate tempo. Like, you told me that game was going to be played in the teens before it started, I'd be like, man, I might like Iowa. If you told me, take it this way, you told me Iowa with Mark Gronowski and co. is going to have the leading passer in this game with 138 yards, I'd say, yeah, probably like Iowa in this game. That was true in both those spots, with both teams scoring under 20 and Mark Gronowski having more passing yards than Dante Moore in this spot, and Oregon still found a way to win the football game. The run game for Oregon was nice yesterday, y'all. Like Dan Lanning said this post-game when he got to the podium, he's like, Big Ten football, 2-0 at one point with us against Iowa. That score in itself, just snapshotting that. If you were to tell an Oregon fan 10 years ago you'll be in a 2-0 game with Iowa in the Big Ten, be like, okay, what world are we living in? But Oregon consistently, they were the more physical team on the line of scrimmage. Ran for 261 on the day. Every time you peeked over at this game, if you had your 4-box going, you had your laptop up with the Oregon game on it, as your boy did, you see Oregon offensive linemen on like the second and third level just continuing to gash and wear on Iowa. And y'all, Iowa defensively, I don't think anything less of them. Like, seeing them play Oregon to 18 points yesterday, that's a good defense. Like, Iowa is who we thought they were. To quote the great Dennis Green, they are who we thought they were, is Iowa. Great up front, great on the perimeter, going to be ankle biting for 4 quarters, biting off kneecaps, make you earn it for all 60 minutes, and that was what Oregon did. And to be able to run the football the way they did, again, that was the style of game that it required. The fact they were able to meet that gives me a lot of confidence for Oregon here when they do get in the college football playoff. And they get in those matchups where it's like, hey, we got to have a little rock fight action here, Oregon. Hey, maybe you're not going to be able to score 40 on us today. Can you do that? Oregon now has, at the very least, a notch in their belt in the rock fight category in getting a win in that fashion, which I think you can't overstate. Now, that's all well and good, but at the end of the day, when the chips are stacked and the money's down, you need your quarterback to make something happen for you. And that throw that Dante Moore had down the sideline to put Oregon in field goal range, y'all, either you wake up with that or you don't. Like, you can watch as many motivational highlights as you want. You can do all the quarterback drills you want. You can throw at nets. You can do cone work. You either have that when you wake up in the morning or you don't. And the good news for Duck fans is Dante Moore wakes up with that in the morning every single day. And you saw, the absolute dot and a half. You could not have handed it to your receiver any more effectively than Dante Moore did. Special stuff. And the throw in itself is one thing. Like, the rain, the defense of Iowa, the window, all that was impressive regardless of the circumstances. You had to have it in that spot, dude. Had to have it. You were not going to be in a position to kick a 50-plus yard field goal and feel good about your chances to win that game. With the conditions that they were, with, just the environment that it was, like, you had to tee it up for your kicker to be in a good spot to go win that football game. So Dante Moore, knowing he had to have it and having the game that he had to that point, again, only threw for 112 yards on the day. Had the pick, tough interception to throw, wasn't really his day across the board, and still having that spot in that moment, the mental toughness, yet again for Oregon, showing up in a massive way. So here's my issue. People are talking about Oregon before this game, people being the College Football Playoff Committee, like watering down that Penn State win because it was, hey, well, Penn State ended up not being really that good. Actually, Penn State just played Indiana to a freaking barn burner fight to the death kind of game, which was a conversation of itself. But we kept going into this game. We, the college football public, kept saying, trap game, trap game, trap game for Oregon. And then Oregon finds a way to win in a trap game. You can't penalize Oregon for finding a way to win in a game that we said all week long was going to be a tough game for Oregon to win. So when we discuss Oregon now in the college football playoff context, I think the committee has got to make sure they give Oregon their flowers. Now, do they move them up? How much do they move them up? We'll see what happens there. But I think at the very least, the committee got something to think about when it comes to what Oregon's going to be here in future rankings. Because Iowa, the number 20 ranked team, I don't think anything less of Iowa. I think Iowa validated the number 20 ranking. We'll talk about that here in a second. But for Oregon to win that game in the fashion they did, in the environment and the opponent that they did, I think speaks volumes to, one, the way that we thought about Oregon before this game, I think is validated. We said before the game in itself, we said after Penn State, hey, I think they're the Bear Grylls of college football. Drop them anywhere, in any environment, any conditions, any style of game, they will find a way to get it done. Like the Indiana loss being your only blemish on your resume right now for Oregon, I don't think that's anything to be too concerned about when you're wondering what your Ducks are going to be here over the course of a college football playoff run. But to add to the whole culture and mentality thing with Oregon, this was a massive what's under the hood moment for the Ducks. Because going into this game, my take was, hey, Oregon has so many weapons from Sadiq to DeCorey and more. At some point in time, Oregon's going to get theirs, and those guys will be the difference in matchup football. No Sadiq, no DeCorey and more. You're throwing to Malik Benson. You're asking more of Cooper, the receiver for you out wide, who wasn't really that much of a part of the offense early on in the year. You're trusting your tight end to make more plays for you in relief of Sadiq. There was a lot of pieces for Oregon here that had to step up, that you had to trust to go make plays for you in a gotta-have-it game in a weird situation, in a tough situation, both environment-wise, conditions-wise, spot-wise, all that. So Oregon, how do you like me now is what I'm saying from Dan Lanning and company. Rank us wherever you want to rank us, but if we keep winning, you're going to have to keep us in this top 12, and we're going to be a college football playoff team. When we get in the door with the tenacity this team has proven they have, with the competitive character they've proven they have, I wouldn't want to play Oregon. So I've said that about a couple of different teams here, from A&M to Bama to Georgia to Oregon. It's going to be one of those years where it's going to come down to, I think, a lot of the traits of these teams. And if it's Dan Lanning's traits, man, I like my odds if I'm a Ducks fan. Now, going back to Iowa here really quick. Going back to what I said a second ago, I think they validated that top 20 ranking, did Iowa. I know when they got ranked, everyone kind of raised their eyebrow and said, well, they're not even ranked in the AP poll. Iowa's number 20? Okay. I mean, it juices up that Oregon game, but we'll see. Iowa has now played 2 top 10 teams to a score in Indiana and Oregon now. Iowa, I think what they did yesterday was they validated their ranking. Sure, they continue to validate their process with what Kirk Ferentz has over there. It's not going to always be the most aesthetically pleasing. It's not going to be something that gets you on SportsCenter, but they play great defense. They oftentimes do enough on the line of scrimmage to put themselves in position to be successful. Run defense wasn't really there yesterday. But they continue to battle. And here's what I want to say. They play USC here coming up. That game in and of itself, everyone's going to talk about USC and their trajectory and their win over Northwestern and how they're playing ball. Iowa is going to be a very, very difficult out for the Trojans. So Iowa, yeah, your college football playoff hopes and dreams are impacted by this loss, but you have a chance to go spoil some dreams here if you're the Hawkeyes, and I would not want to play that formula because it's been proven that it works what Kirk Ferentz has cooking out there in Iowa City. But Oregon, again, culture win, competitive toughness, composure win, whatever kind of label you want to put on it, it was that for Oregon in a difficult spot for the Ducks. And they found a way to get it done, did Danny Lanning and the boys. So make sure you're subscribed here. Oregon fans, let me know your thoughts about your Ducks after this win on the road against Iowa. Cato on the ones and twos, myself, JD PicKell. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We will keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.